Let's address the elephant in the room. You decide to change. You make the vision board, you journal, you meditate, you set all the intention, you repeat affirmation, you listen to subliminals, and you actually feel it. You really feel it inside of you physically. And then 4 weeks later, you're back. Same patterns, same habits, same version of yourself. And you don't even know how it happened. Hi, my loves and Liloh, and welcome back on my channel. So today we're diving into something I think is one of the most important and one of the most misunderstood things in self-growth. We're talking about identity shifts, and specifically why it feels so uncomfortable to change. Why is it so uncomfortable that the majority of the person give up before the real transformation happens? I promise you that by the end of the video, you understand what's actually going on inside your brain when you try to change, where your old version, the old version you always fight back. And of course, how to navigate all of it so the new can finally take root. And let's get right into it. So first things first. What is an identity shift? And not the vision board version, like writing I am abundant, I am worthy, I am loved, I am safe, and hoping it miraculously sticks. No, because an identity shift is when you change the fundamental story you have about who you are. It's when you change the narrative you have about yourself. It's the difference between saying, I'm trying to be more confident, and actually feeling in your bones, in your guts, and actually believing in your body that you are someone who shows up with confidence. And those are two completely different things. And your identity is basically the operating system of your life. Like every decision you make, every habit you form, every relationship you choose, it all flows from how you see yourself. And James Clear actually said it very well in his book, Atomic Habits. He said, real change is not about outcomes, it's not even about processes, it's about identity. And the most lasting change comes from shifting who you believe you are. So for example, if you want to be someone who takes care of her body, shift from, I want to be a healthy person, I need to work on more, to, I am someone who takes care of her body. I am someone who goes to the gym. I am an athletic person. I am a disciplined person. I am someone who loves herself. And I know that this different can sound small, but it's actually what changed everything. Because no, your affirmation comes from an identity. You are someone who is You are someone who take care of herself, and not you need to. So you're not operating from a place of lack, but you are operating from the present moment. You are operating from your body. You are operating from your identity. So here's what nobody tells you about change. And honestly, when I understood this, everything clicked for me. When you try to shift your identity, your brain literally resists. And not because you're weak, not because you're not ready, not because you don't want to change. No, but because of neuroscience. So your brain has something called self-concept, and basically it's the image it has of who you are. It's literally your brain perspective of who you are, of yourself. And your brain job is to protect it. It's to keep it consistent. It's to keep it stable, safe. Because to your nervous system, conformity, familiarity equals safety. But change equals danger. So when you start acting like the new version of yourself, when you start showing up differently, when you start saying no, when you start putting boundaries, when you start to choose yourself, your brain starts to send signals. And it can be anxiety, it can be discomfort, and usually it comes out with a feeling in your body, an oppressing feeling in your body. And it can be that little voice in your head saying, it's not really you. The person you pretend to be isn't who you are. You're faking it. You're not enough. That's not you. And there's an actual technical term for that, and it's cognitive dissonance. So it's the gap between who you were and who you are becoming. And that gap, it's supposed to feel uncomfortable. And it doesn't mean you're going backwards. It just means that you're in the middle of something real. You're in the middle of your transformation. You're starting to create a new life. And think of it like this. You've been sleeping on the left side of your bed your whole life. And one day, you decide to switch to the right. The first life, of course it felt uncomfortable. Of course it felt wrong, like you can't even relax. But after just a few nights, it becomes natural. And that's exactly what an identity shift feels like. The unfamiliar, the uncomfortable phase is this transformation, is the place where you get to transform your life, to transmute your energy, and to actually change your life. So now let's talk about something I see happen to so many people, including me. And that's the moment your old self, the old version of you, start to fight back. When your old self try to come up to the surface, because I promise you it will. And here's how it actually shows up. Number one, self-sabotage. So you had a perfect week, you accomplished a lot of things, you actually showed up as your new version of yourself. And suddenly, out of nowhere, you do something that pulls you right back. Maybe you pick a fight, maybe you cancel one of your plans, maybe you go back to a habit you were trying to leave. And listen to me, it's not failure, it's just your old self trying to survive, because it's what is familiar to you. Maybe you grew up in a toxic household, maybe you grew up in a toxic and chaotic home where you were constantly in survival mode. Number two, the imposter syndrome or the imposter feeling. So you've did something great this week, you have accomplished a lot of things, and you finally start showing up differently. But then there is a little voice inside your way saying, who do you think you are? This is not who you really are. Stop faking it. Who are you pretending to be? What do you want to impress? And you know, I had that voice for the longest time in my life. I was always criticizing myself. I was always doubting myself. Every time I was creating something and putting something out there, I was literally making fun of myself. I was like, who are you pretending to be, girl? No, it's not who I am. Maybe I'm lying to people, and I start doubting myself. Like I was literally gaslighting myself. And I just want to say, this imposter syndrome, this imposter feeling is not an evidence that you're lying. It's an evidence that you're growing. Because if it felt 100% natural, you wouldn't be changing. You will still be the person you were. If you do something that feels familiar to you, if you do something that feels 100% normal and natural to you, you are not getting out of your comfort zone. You are not evolving. You're just repeating the same cycle. Because when you change, when you actually change who you are, when you actually change your habits, it feels uncomfortable. It comes with it. It's not something separate. They come together. And number three, others people's reaction. And this one is real. Because when you start shifting, the people around you start to notice. And trust me, not everyone will celebrate it. And don't get me wrong, some might be really and truly happy for you, but some might feel threatened. And some people will try to pull you back to who you were. Because who you were comfortable for them. Were comfortable for them. The people that feel threatened because you're changing, because you're growing, because you're evolving, are the people who are taking advantage of the people you were. And the fact that you're changing now, and the fact that they're threatened now, is because now they won't be able to do the same, because you're not the same person. So they won't be able to feed off your energy. And trust me, there are a lot of people jealous of you. Like how many times your close ones, your friends told you your dreams were too big? How many times did someone told you not to wear this because they felt uncomfortable, because they were jealous of your clothes, they were jealous of your outfit? There are so many people who feel so under energy because they were jealous, because they're unable themselves of creating their dream life. They're unable themselves of getting out of their comfort zone. And it's easier to feed off others' energy and to criticize them and to be jealous and to envy them. And it's so easy to be a hater. It's so easy to criticize everyone. But trust me, 90% of the time, the person who criticizes you are not doing better than you. And in fact, they're often not doing anything at all. This is one of the hardest parts of an identity shift. Not the internal change, not the internal work, but the external friction. And it's even harder when you're a people pleaser. And as an ex-professional people pleaser, I can tell you, it's even harder to detach from other people's opinion and other people's reaction, because you feel safe and you feel loved because of other validation, because of external things. And when you change and slowly some of your friends, some of the person you know start to hate on you, start to criticize you, you feel absolutely terrified and absolutely devastated. Because your whole world crumbles. And why? Because your worth and your identity is deeply tied to to others' expectation of you, to others' reaction, and to others' opinion. So now let's talk about what to actually do, because I don't want this video to just be inspiring or whatever. I really want this video to be useful. So here's what has generally helped me. Step 1, expect the discomfort and do not fight it. So when you start something new and you feel that resistance, that this is not me feeling arising, instead of trying to push it away, say to yourself, this is what becoming feels like. Because it is. The discomfort is a sign that you are evolving. It's the sign that you are transforming. You cannot change and be comfortable at the same time. It doesn't work. So stop waiting to be ready, because ready is the feelings that come after you actually done it. You actually start doing the action. It is a feeling that come after you do the thing, not before. Step 2, anchor to your future self and not to your feelings. Because all the feelings you feel in the middle of the transition will lie to you. Maybe you'll say something like, go back, it's safer there. Go back, I feel much more comfortable in all ways or whatever. But instead of believing it and actually listening to it, ask yourself, what will the woman I'm becoming do right now? What will she do? What decision will she make? How will she react? And do not ask it from the anxious version of yourself. Ask it from the future version of yourself, from your future self perspective. Ask it to the woman who is already on the other side, and try making decisions like her, even if it's like pretending. And step 3, collect small evidence. So no, you don't have to wake up tomorrow and think you are a completely different person. Absolutely not. It's overwhelming and it doesn't work. Instead, every time you do something according to your future self, according to the woman you are becoming, record it, because that's data. Maybe today you say no, and it's something the new version of yourself do. Record it, write in your journal, write down in your notes, I don't know, whatever, and just collect that evidence and reread it and repeat it, because repetition is what rewires the brain, and your new identity needs proof before it becomes automatic. And trust me, with time and repetition, what once felt uncomfortable, unfamiliar, like a rebellion, will become your new normal, will become your new rhythm. So I want to leave you with something that really shifted things for me. There is a version of you that has been keeping you safe for a very, very long time. The version of you that made herself small, the version of you that people please, that over-explain, and the version of you that waiting for permission to take up space. And trust me, she was doing her best, and she was protecting you. But one thing to know about her is she was built for a past version of your life, not for who you are becoming. So when you feel the resistance, when you feel the old patterns, the old habits creep back in, have compassion for her. She is not your enemy. She is just scared of being left behind. She just wants to feel safe, and your job isn't to destroy her. Your job is to thank her for what she did. Your job is to thank her for what she did for you in the past. And your job is to gently say to her, you are safe and we do not need these patterns anymore. Because here's what I know. You are not the person you were a year ago, and you are not the person you'll be a year from now. You are moving. You are in constant motion, because life is moving. Life is movement. You are always in motion. You are always becoming. And the discomfort you feel right now is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something beautiful is already happening. That something beautiful is going to happen, because it's a sign that you are changing your pattern and that you are changing the narrative of your life. So let me give you the 3 takeaways. First of all, identity shift is all about changing the fundamental story you have about who you are, not just your habits. It's about changing the image, the narrative, the scenario you have about who you are, about yourself, and how you see yourself. 2, the discomfort you feel when you change, when you're changing your life, is just your brain projecting an old self-concept of you. And it's normal, it's science, and it will pass. And 3, instead of waiting to feel ready, ask yourself, what will the woman I'm becoming do right now? And do it. Especially if it's uncomfortable. Thank you so much for watching this video. I wish you the best of the week, and I see you in the next one.